Good evening and welcome to the Simply Colorful FiberCast. Today's date is August 31st, 2018. My name is Lynn Marquidant and I'm your host. Welcome! We have another hour of sewing ahead of us, or I should say a new hour of sewing ahead of us here in the studio. So welcome, grab a project and let's play together. You can hear the dings. If you're working on something fiber related or anything, send it to me at lynn@simplycolorful.com and I'll share it with our viewers. You can always go to the Facebook page, Simply Colorful, or the Mystery Quilting Group, Simply Colorful Quilt Along, Mystery Quilt Along, and post your pictures there. So welcome. I am continuing to make my Dear Jane quilt. And I had a customer come over this week and said, I thought you only worked on little squares. That's how long I've been working on my Dear Jane quilt. I do other things. But we have this one last week that I can crank out another Dear Jane block before we start our brown bag mystery quilt next week. So if you haven't gotten your fabric, let me know, or your brown bag. All of our patrons should have received it. Julie over in Australia, I have yours here. We just need to figure out in Patreon how to put in your new address. So I sent you an email, send one back if you got that. Anyway, it's going to be an 8-week, I'm preparing my block. I should tell you what block we're making. Today for Dear Jane, we're going to make, this is good, E9 Quilt Jail, Jail. And let's pull it up. The reason I'm a few minutes late is I was reading what happened on this day in history, and I'm going to share that with everyone in a minute. I must admit, I wasn't familiar with a lot of the things that happened. And that's really bad when I don't even have context for that history. So that's why I was 3 minutes late. Anyway, let's see. And that's the air conditioning. I still have it on even though this weekend's supposed to be beautiful. And it is beautiful outside. This is the one we're making. Very straightforward and square. So I'm kind of excited about that. I'm going to use this fabric. Hope you can see it. I used it, actually. I don't know if anyone would have use for these. For part of our quilt guild, so the Marathon Quilt Guild is having its quilt show next 2 weeks from now, the 15th and 16th. And as part of that, we have a little boutique and we sell things. One of the things is this. It's not finished yet, but it's supposed to be a rotary cutter holder, I guess. I don't know how you keep it from slipping out. Anyway, I made 2 of them out of this fabric, and I had some leftover fabric. So that's where the fabric came from. And I really should just finish this up. Let's see. I need to somehow sew it down. Anyway, it's on my list to bring to the quilt show. Whoops. So if you're making Dear Jane along with me, it's E9 Quilt Jail. This is an easy one. We should be able to do this with our eyes closed. And send your pictures to lynn@simplycolorful.com. Do you believe we're in our 5th year of doing this? Every Friday night we do this. I was saying to my friend Joyce, who I owe a email to, that it'd been 5 years. I can't believe it's been that long. And I'm really excited about our brown bag mystery. 1, 2, 3, 4 times 4. So that's 16 of these. So I'm going to do the whole thing. The way our brown bag mystery works, for anyone who might be new, if you are new, welcome. So glad to have you joining us. This is just a sew-along. It's a virtual sew-along. And it's just an hour where we come together and we do anything. We sew, we knit, anything fiber related, we try. But sometimes that's nothing more than reading a magazine about fiber. Annie out west works on all sorts of things. Every week she's teaching us a new activity. She's doing some rug hooking right now and some tatting. Tatting or crochet? Okay, you know what? I'm even going to break this up. So I need 16 of these, right? There's 4. there's 8. And then we'll even break it in half, and there are 16. That was fast. Okay, now what we need are, I'm using this off-white print for my dear Dane. Yeah, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, the brown bag mystery. I think that's what I was talking about. I'm really sorry. Brown bag mystery is a 7-week mystery where I give you a fat quarter. First, you have to become a Simply Colorful patron. So go to Patreon, patreon.com/simplycolorful. And then every Patreon gets a brown bag. And in that brown bag is a fat quarter that we're going to use in the quilt, the mystery quilt we're going to make. You won't know what we're making. But also in that is a swatch card with all of the other fabric you need and the requirements. So I know some of you have been getting your fabric. You can make it scrappy. You can change the colors. Just make sure that when you look at it, you like all the colors together. Then, starting next week, September 7th, right, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th, September 7th, 2018, the first clue will be posted. And we will make it here on FiberCast for 8 weeks in a row. And I hope you enjoy it. It's quite fun for all of us to make this together. At least I know I enjoy it. And we've done different designs in the past. We mix it up. I think probably the next one, not this one, but the next one, I think we're going to, I'm hoping we join forces with a fabric, either supplier or manufacturer. That's the goal. Okay, so now I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of those little ones. 4, 8. I don't know quite how many we have here. And dear Jane, I really wanted to have at least like row A and B all sewn together and really wow you like tonight. But as you can see, I did not get to it. What you can see behind me is a quilt from the studio on the hill over in Holliston. So Becky McDonald, that's one of her, either hers or one that came out of one of her experiences. Highly recommend it. If you have someone who is having a baby or is getting married and you have a group of people that would like to do something together for the special couple or mother or father or a big birthday. Let's say I know my father-in-law is turning 80. We definitely should give him a quilt. Carol? Heidi. So many of us quilt. Deb. Anyway, go to Studio on the Hill over in Holliston and she will give you an experience. You can pick out what quilt you want to make. She'll either supply the fabric or she'll guide you in picking your own fabric. Then you come together and together you work on this one quilt. You can have a meal. You can probably have entertainment, although she has a great set of music that she plays throughout the speakers in the studio. So anyway, let's see. Okay, so I've got all the pieces here. It's been quite the week. I started out with a flat tire on the truck. Got that fixed. And then it's been quite the week. I thought it was going to be a quiet week before Labor Day. Happy Labor Day, everyone. Okay, so following the numbers, I'm going to put the size of my stitch down to 1.8. And now, you know, if I had been smart, I would have made this a different way, but that's okay. I like paper piecing. Oh, but I could at least do this. Let's get a little chain going. I've been thinking of all you parents, Chris and Jean and everyone whose children, and Carol, whose children have gone back to school. Wondering if the house seems quiet in a good way. I actually had dessert for dinner tonight. Just before we did this, I called Chris and we took a walk to the ice cream store. So that was fun. She has a Labradoodle, Sophie, that is just a beautiful dog. And lots of people were out and about. It's a good weekend to do that. I talked to Mom. Hi, Mom. Hi, KB, if you're out there. Mom has been to the festival down the street, the art festival. That's good. And the farmer's market will be there tomorrow morning, so lots of things. Jean and I think, are going to get together and talk about a Dresden quilt, I think. Okay, so this is huge, this piece here. I do not need that. But I'll use it for something else. I always use so much fabric. There we go. Some finger pressing. Just keep going along. Did my biggest quilt this week. King size quilt, 96 by 120, and it fit on the gamma frame beautifully. In fact, I want to start a movement about making bigger quilts. I know I've been shying away from it, and I don't know why, because my bed is big, and I love when it's big enough to really wrap around you when it gets cold. And there's nothing worse than a quilt that isn't quite long enough, especially as the months get colder. So anyway, I'm on a quest to make bigger quilts. Not that the brown bag quilt is going to be that big. I have to tell you that. I did get a message. Oh, and I apologize. I can't remember who asked the question. Maybe it was Leah. About the size. Would there be size options on the brown bag mystery? And there won't be. It's just one size. Sometimes the patterns do have multiple sizes, but this one, no. So I'm just cutting away the excess, and I'll reuse it. I could reuse these white excess for sure. And I think I'm going to use my iron, actually. There. Oh, my monitor. So not only did I have a flat tire, but my computer monitor really conked out. It started blinking like a month ago. And this time it went, and then goodbye. So I had to go to Best Buy. Got myself another Acer monitor, which served me well. I had that monitor for 7 years. Every day, almost every day using it. And can you see this better? Oh, who's that? So we went up to 1 gig internet. I hope this is streaming faster to you. Who's out there? KB! Uh-oh. KB says, didn't you have a flat tire last week too? Well, so do you think maybe it was last week and not this week? That could very well be. I don't remember. I've only had one flat tire.
Okay, check it out.
Siri's like, you need help. Okay, KB, didn't you have a flat? Okay, then she says, was the monitor like this? Did you send me a picture? Was the monitor like this? Are you going to send me a picture of the monitor? It's an Acer. The sales manager person, it was $99. It was a 24-inch, so it's nothing fancy, but you know, $99 is $99, man. He told me that it was they made good peripherals. So, and my last Acer lasted me 7 years. So I'm happy about that. Now you've got me thinking, was my flat tire? No, it was another flat tire. What I had a few weeks ago was I had my tires rotated and I had new brakes. So there. And then I got this flat tire. Which of course, every time that happens, you wonder what happened when it was in the bay the first time. And get this, maybe I did tell you this, maybe it was last week. Did I tell you I drove away and it started to make noises and I ended up going back and there was a rock on the rotor of the brake pad? Anywho, I hope everyone's car is running okay. Which kind of reminds me of what I was reading about before we came on. I was reading about what happened in this day many years ago. It had to do with a solar car. And let me read it to you. So in 1955, William Cobb demonstrated the first solar-powered car. That's 50, 60, 70 years ago. So on this day, April 31st in 1995, William Cobb of the General Motors Corp demonstrated a 15-inch long Sunmobile. I know we humans are getting bigger, but even in 1955, no one would have fit in that car. So it must have been a toy. What's the clicking? Oh, KB sends a picture now. No! She wants to know if it's like that monitor. That's like a Digital Equipment Corporation monitor from 1980. No, it was an Acer flat screen, baby. That's funny. You make me laugh. Okay, so this Sunmobile was literally only 15 inches long. Bottom line, this solar-powered car thing is not taking off. And I'm sure, well, I'm not sure. I suspect it has to do with the weight of the battery that you'd have to store the solar energy in. But they didn't really tell me that. What they went on to say other things that I'm going to share with you. It was demonstrated at the General Motors Powerama Auto Show in Chicago. It was introduced, however briefly, the field of photovoltaics, the process by which the sun's rays are converted into electricity when exposed to certain surfaces, into the gasoline-drenched automotive industry. When sunlight hit 12 photoelectric cells made of selenium, built into the Sunmobile, an electric current was produced that in turn powered a tiny motor. The motor turned the vehicle's drive shaft, which was connected to its rear axle by a pulley. Visitors to the month-long $7 million Powerama marveled at some 250 free exhibits spread over 1 million square feet of space on the shores of Lake Michigan. What does that have to do with the solar-powered car? In addition to Cobb's futuristic mini automobile, Powerama visitors were treated to an impressive display of GM's diesel-fueled empire, from oil wells and cotton gins to submarines and other military equipment. Okay, so Powerama was more than just Cobb's 15-inch sun-powered car. Okay, but today, fast forward to today, more than a half a century after Cobb debuted his Sunmobile, a mass-produced solar car has yet to hit the market anywhere in the world. Solar car competitions are held worldwide, however, in which design teams pit their sun-powered creations. Oh, this is junk phone mail. And the way I know that is it's using my exchange. And it always says it's from Douglas. Okay, so back to solar cars. There are competitions. So sun-powered creations are also known as photovoltaic or PV cars. There are road races like in the 2008 North American Solar Challenge, which is a 2,400-mile drive from Dallas to Texas to Calgary, Alberta, Canada. In 2009, it was reported that Toyota was secretly developing a vehicle that would be powered totally by solar energy, but they were hit by the global financial crisis. Toyota launched the Prius in 1997, a mass-produced hybrid vehicle, but that's still not, that's battery and gas, right? That's still not solar powered. Anyway, Japan, they used some solar powered panels to make their vehicles. Finally, they announced they would install solar panels on the roof of the next generation of the Prius, and the panels would supply part of the 2 to 5 kilowatts needed to power the car's air conditioning system. Anyway, according to this news source, no one's expected to have a solar car hit the market anytime soon. The electric vehicle will get some of its power from solar cells in the vehicle and will be recharged with electricity generated from solar panels on the roofs of car owners' homes. That's a good idea, because you always hear people putting the big solar powered panels on their houses and it's too much, and how they can sell that power back to the grid. Wouldn't it be cool if you could somehow store it and use it in your own car? That sounds very green, keeping it local. I like that idea. Anyway, that happened in 1955 on August 31st. I believe my cousin Davies was born on this day over half a century ago, which is just blows my mind. We're getting there. Who's making their Dear Jane blocks? And Sue out in Chicago, how is your shed? Last we knew they were pouring concrete. Or cement. Oh, excuse me. I know there's a difference between concrete and cement. Couldn't tell you what it is right now. Does cement have concrete plus stones? Oh, now we're going to have to look it up. Tell you, this continual learning is exhausting, but all the books say we're supposed to do it. And oh yeah, I did that right. I find continual learning is easier than continual exercise. I crack myself up. So we have our first doll club next Saturday. Is that right? Yeah, next Saturday. And then Sunday I fly to Austin, Texas. And at Doll Club, we're going to have a discussion about what we want Doll Club to be in the future. Who wants to do what? Because we haven't been making many dolls, and I don't know. We don't have that many people who come, and I'll keep you posted. So it's called the Textile Tarts in Northborough. If anyone out there would like to make dolls and is interested in meeting some really good doll artists, I invite you to come. It's at the Northborough Library on the 8th of September. But again, I'm not sure what we're going to do, whether we're going to continue to meet once a month or whether we're going to do a couple of trips or like go some classes together. So that's that. I can't believe fall is back and we have to think about this. I truly enjoyed the summer and not having to think about the Quilt Guild or the Doll Club. Just being talking out loud. Thing is, I know I would miss it. So, but I just, anyway, enough about that. What are you all working on? Send your comments and pictures to lynn@simplycolorful.com. And as soon as I'm finished with these 4, I'm going to go see who's out there. I know Wendy has been out there, Wendy Down Under, and her daughter, Crystal, whom I owe pictures of flannel. I keep looking, I'm not sure that, I'm thinking Joanne Fabric, I'm sure you've already checked into this. They have an online system. Maybe they can send it your way. I basically don't think I'm able to help much. I'm sure the homework you've done on fabric distributors is more than I can offer. I mean, I could go to Joanne and I could pick up a few yards of flannel and send it over. I'd be happy to do that. So Wendy, I owe you and Crystal a note to that effect. Aren't these fun? I'm so curious to hear if the streaming is going faster. So we upped it. We had just 250 megabytes of streaming size. I believe that's the amount of data that goes through the network pipe. We upped it. They call it 1 gig, but it's really like 970 megabytes through the pipe. So with luck, you are seeing me clearer with less delay, which is always a good thing. Just kidding. This block will be fun when it goes together, I think. So you just keep cutting it off apart. For those of you on the Cape, I'm jealous. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Okay. Get my Panasonic iron here. Go. A couple more, and then, like I say, I'm going to see who's out there. This is a pretty blue, this fabric. That one's good, that one's good. So those two are done. And then we just need this one. And we are good to go. There's that. And here's this. Okay. So we have 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're like paint chips, aren't they? And let's see who's out there. Oh, yay! Hello, Sue Norton. She sent us She Shed. Remember how we can't say this? She sent us an update. She says, the cement is set and the floor frame is in place. Tomorrow, a lot more will be happening. I'll have more pictures next week, I hope, she says. I need to start pulling more fat quarters for the brown bag mystery. Can't wait. It's downloading now. Oh, that looks great. Oh, and look at your baby. Look at that. Oh, Sue, that's so exciting. Hello. Wonderful. Armenian needle lace. That's what Annie was telling us about last week. That's what she titled it. She says, I had to laugh, although I do tat. The lace I'm working on right now is called Armenian needle lace. And you told me that. You even told me how you use a needle last week. That is great. And there are pictures. So Annie says, oh my goodness, the things she sends. She says, hi from cool Sioux Falls. We are having our fall weather already. Oh, we're so jealous. I'm hoping that comes down and over us this weekend. She says, glad your car trouble is only a flat tire. Uh-oh. Ours is a bad front wheel bearing. Uh-oh. That stinks. Ugh. Don't they start leaking or something when the grease comes out? And that is expensive. Well, sorry. Annie goes on to say, with the boys in school, I am doing more sewing this week. I finished this pinwheel quilt a couple of days ago, and I finished Dear Jane row B10 this morning. Are you kidding me? Can I just say, how do you do that? Can everyone see that? That is just great. Look at how, I don't know if people can really appreciate. Look at the pinwheels. That's beautiful. Wow. Annie. So Annie goes on to say, with the boys in school, she was able to do that. She finished Dear Jane row B10 this morning. And she says, tonight I'm relaxing with my applique. She says, you are right about big quilts. I hate one that the draft creeps under. I know, right? And she says, the Dresden plate top I just finished is 120 by 120. It's going to be a bit difficult manhandling it under my sewing machine, but I think bigger is better when it comes to a quilt. Amen. Me too. Oh, she says the second picture is the applique block I finished last night. I think I'm almost ready to put the top together. And she says, I hope everybody has a great 3-day weekend. Well, Annie, you too. Oh, look at that. That looks fun. Look at that. Annie, have a great 3-day weekend yourself. Those are wonderful. Oh, and look at your flowers. I have to show everyone that quilt once again. That's great. Wow. Ah, Anne, over the pond. Anne says, hi, Lynn. It's been another busy week and productive. Wow. Another underachiever here. She says, I finally finished my Bonnie Hunter on Ringo Lake Flimsy. So it's now in the pile to layer and quilt. She says about 6 so far. Good for you. That is a big accomplishment. That's a big, meaty quilt. She says, tonight I did my splendid sampler 2 blocks, tulips in bloom, and had to use my stitch ripper quite a bit. I loved your note and your stitch ripper about not using it in at least a couple of hours. That was a reason to celebrate. That was great. Oh, Anne goes on to say, I also caught up with the 100 blocks in 100 days challenge. She says, I was 4 behind. Oh, yay. She says, I'm going shopping on Monday to get fabric for the brown bag mystery. I'm so looking forward to a new quilt challenge. Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear you say that. She says, I finished the little baby blanket I was making for the Women's Institute competition on September 15th. And I'm also doing the cookery challenge, so it should be a fun day. The color of the blanket is a lovely yellow, but it doesn't show very well in this picture. And she says, I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. That is beautiful. Oh, won't that be soft on a baby? And then, oh, there's a block. Oh, and another block. Oh, and another block. I like that one. Look at the difference. I like the big motif. Oh, and these are her 2 tulips from the Splendid Sampler 2. This was this week's block. Do they come out once a week? I don't know. Oh, there's another. Oh, that's pretty. I love those fabrics together. Thank you for sending them, and thank you for sharing. And Carol. Hi, Carol. Carol says, hi, Lynn and FiberCast. And this is Carol over in Yorkshire. She says, I hope everyone has had a good week. The title of this is Binding. And she says, I seem to have been spending all my time finishing off quilts for the last few weeks. And she says, I'm looking forward to actually doing some piecing. I bet, oh, she says, I bet my 1/4-inch seam will take a bit to get back. I know what you mean. Oh, she's working on her color wheel quilts, I think. I think that is the color wheel mystery, maybe. Love it. Putting on the binding. Oh. I dropped my pieces. Let's see. Stay right there. When I go down, you can look at the quilt behind me. Okay. Let us trim these. Oh. Before I do that, some of them. This one, you need to put a white strip down that side and that side and this side. But not this side? Why not? All right, so this one's done. Okay, there's one, so that's done. But now, before I cut anything, I want to take this, go along You don't make many big sewing seams like that on a Dear Jane block, do you? Here's 2. 1, 2, and then 1 more here. Whee! Okay, now what I want to do is, oh, that's what's going to happen. Well, yeah, I'm going to peel this back so that I can trim the underlying piece there, because I do not want this bulk there we go. And then we'll fold the paper back and we'll fold this over. One, two, three. Okay. Well, that's waiting. We'll do the same thing on this. So it's basically pulling the paper back. So Sue is making her she shed. What are you all doing? Are you canning? Are you doing any pickling? Any stewing up of the tomatoes? Any craft fairs? I think Jean said she was heading to the Big E on Monday. I hope I'm doing this right. Oh, I guess I can cut them both. Oh, and the Brimfield Fair is next week. Oh, I wish I could go down and see my friend Kim and go to that, but I can't because of the dog club meeting, and then I have to go to Texas next year. But if anyone is out toward Brimfield, I think it starts September 6th through the 10th, something like that. That's a fun take. Although it looks like it's going to get hot again, but that's okay. So there's another one. See how we're putting these? That will ultimately go like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. What are we going to do with this Dear Jane when it's done? That's the question. It'll probably just go on a shelf or on a bed. I don't think it'll go on a wall because I don't have any big walls. There's that. Now we'll cut this down to size. Look at all the fabric I spend on this. The good news is it's just a scrap. Okay, so there's another one. There. This one's ready to cut up too. Okay, so there's that. Yay. Now, let's look at this. So this is E9. Oh, I see. This is exactly how it should go. I'm going to sew these together. And then we'll put the edges around it. That. Here we go. So now we have two. Yay! There's one piece. There's another piece. Now we put that together. We'll check that out. I like that. There we go. Now we just, rather than cutting out pieces with this paper piece, I am just going to take strips and sew them around the edge, and then I will trim it. Yeah. Know what I mean? So I'm just going to do 2 strips on each end. And I'll follow this seam on the back. And let's set all those seams. It's going to be a lot of paper to pull off. Okay, one side, and then we'll do the other side. Let's see. So what else happened on this day in history? Richard Gere was born. Remember him from Pretty Woman? And a lot of other things happened that I'm going to read to you in a minute that like I say, don't even have enough historical context to even know what they mean. Okay, so there's that. Let's just get, is that going to be big enough? Nope. Oh, yes. That is going to work for one. Okay. That Do you believe this? We're doing this well within the hour, aren't we? Yay! We'll write in our diary. Okay. So there's that. And then I think this will even work. Labor Day 2018. I cannot believe it. Okay. Well, this is E9. It's a little rough because I haven't cleaned it up, but that is E9. So what are we going to say here? First, we have to glue a piece of the fabric. Oh, and I have plenty of this fabric left. Okay, so take this. I go into my Dear Jane book and here we go. Okay, and let's see. It is August 31st. Made on FiberCast. Made block on FiberCast. Talked about history. Solar powered car by William Cobb. We also saw Annie's and Anne and Carol and Wendy and Sue and KB and all sorts of you, all of your things that you have going on. I love it. Let's see who else is out there. Oh my goodness, Allie. Allie from Down Under, hello. Are you on a ship or are you on your caravan? Wow. Allie says hi from Australia, and I say hi right back. She says, hi, Lynn. We have been back a week, and I'm enjoying watching live this morning while working on my quilting blog, which she says has been neglected the past 3 months due to our travel blog. Well, you're going to have to post both on the Simply Colorful Mystery Quilt Along so we can read it. She says, this afternoon I will be finishing a 60th birthday present and then starting Blockheads 2, which is now into block 6 or 7, I think. She says, I'm going to use red, white, and blue fabrics. Ooh, it is so good to get back to my machine. I bet it is. She says, we didn't take the van sewing machine as I didn't want to get any red dust from Central Australia. And boy, did we get some red dust everywhere in the van. Oh, that's very interesting. She says, I did do a lot of hexies and a few farmer's wife blocks, but she says it's good to be back and she's planning another trip. I love this. She says, I'll message Wendy with flannel suppliers. Yes. Spotlight had a flannel sale about 2 weeks ago. Thank you for doing that. That's perfect. I think Crystal's looking for cute children's prints. I think. Check with Wendy. Thank you for doing that. She says, enjoy your week, Fibercasters. Love, Allison. Oh, so glad you're out there. That's wonderful. Well, Pat Ryan from Ryco Creative Sewing Center down in Lincoln, Rhode Island writes, don't forget the Teacher's Tea is happening September 15th. So if anyone is down toward Lincoln, Rhode Island, please feel free to go down there and see all the fabrics that Pat has. And then all the teachers will be in there with booths talking about what they're teaching, what they're doing. Spur your creativity. I also want to thank Kawartha Quilting and Sewing up in Canada. Thanks for sponsoring us and being a patron. Thank you to all of our patrons. And get excited for the start of next week's brown bag mystery quilt. Yay! I literally want us to start sewing next week. How are we going to do that? If you have your brown bag, you have your fabric, yeah, I think maybe we can do, well, I think maybe we can. We can start sewing something next week. So get all of your fabric. If anyone, any patron out there has not received their fabric, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. And again, next Friday morning by 7, I will post the file onto Patreon. So get psyched about that. Anyway, Ryko, September 15th. Again, Wendy is out there. Carrie, if you're out there, I'm glad you received your fabric. That's wonderful. Deb, let me know when your quilt's ready. I'm here. I'm here all weekend. We can work on it. Carol in Natick, one of your quilts is done. The other one's coming. BJ, your first quilt here is just finished, the one with the leaves, and I'm waiting on the red thread for your Christmas one for early next week. So let's see. I think that about does it. If I missed anyone, I apologize. I so thank you for being with me. Thanks for being a FiberCaster. Thanks for loving fiber just as much as I do and enjoying this journey together. So have a great weekend. Have a long weekend. Be creative. Do what you feel like doing. And I'll see you back here next Friday night for the start of the Brown Bag Mystery. Bye.